You've been lied to, not by a stranger, not by some scammer in a basement, by an industry that hides its secrets in plain sight, on a label you hold in your hands every single morning. And the craziest part, the proof is printed right there on the container. Here's a question nobody thinks to ask. Why do all protein powders taste almost identical but produce completely different results in the body? The answer involves cows, peas, and a 40-year-old industry trick. You won't find this on any label, but you'll never look at one the same way again. United States. Dairy factories had a problem. Every time they made cheese, they were left with a yellowish, watery liquid, a byproduct, waste. They paid to have it dumped. Some factories poured it directly into local rivers. That liquid was whey, and nobody thought it had value. Nobody, that is, until a former Air Force pilot turned bodybuilder named Joe Weider started experimenting with it in the 1950s and 60s. He didn't know what he was creating. He just knew that the men who consumed more of this waste built muscle faster. By the 1980s, supplement companies were racing to purify, dry, and sell this former waste product. By 2000, whey protein was a global industry. By today, it's worth over $12 billion annually, built on something that used to be thrown away. But here's what the origin story reveals about the industry itself. They started with waste, and they never really changed what they were selling, just a label on top of it. Before we get into the breakdowns, I want to tell you about a study. 2015, Clean Label Project, an independent research group. They purchased 134 protein powder products from well-known brands, popular products, products people trusted. They ran every single one through a battery of laboratory tests. What they found changed how the supplement world operated. Briefly, we're going to come back to what they discovered, because before you understand what's wrong with this industry, you need to understand what protein actually is. Your body doesn't care about protein powder, not even slightly. What it cares about is amino acids. Protein is just the delivery vehicle for amino acids. Think of it like this. Amino acids are individual bricks. Protein is a wall made of those bricks. Protein powder is pre-cut bricks delivered to your door faster than any whole food can send them. There are 20 amino acids your body works with. 9 of them are essential. Your body cannot manufacture them. You must consume them. A protein source is only considered complete if it delivers all 9. Animal proteins, like whey and casein, are complete. Most individual plant proteins are not. This is where the protein war begins. But here's the twist. Complete doesn't necessarily mean better absorbed. And the protein with the highest absorption rate, it's not whey. It's something you've probably never heard of. We'll get there. Whey protein comes from milk. When you make cheese, milk separates into 2 parts. The solid curds become the cheese you eat. The liquid left behind is whey. That liquid is collected, filtered, dried, and sold as protein powder. Simple enough, but here's where it gets complicated. There are 3 different forms of whey, and they are not equal. Whey concentrate, the most common form, also the cheapest, contains 70 to 80% protein by weight. The remaining 20 to 30% lactose and fat. If you feel bloated, gassy, or uncomfortable after protein shakes, whey concentrate is almost certainly why. Whey Isolate, more heavily filtered, 90% protein or higher, almost no lactose, faster absorbed, noticeably more expensive. Whey hydrolysate, pre-digested, enzymatically broken down before you ever consume it, absorbs the fastest of all 3, tastes bitter, costs the most. Now here's the industry trick. Most protein tubs on the market don't specify which type you're buying. They say whey protein blend. That blend is primarily concentrate, the cheapest form. But because ingredients are listed by weight on a label, companies put a small amount of isolate first on the ingredient list. A legal sprinkle of isolate lets them print Whey Isolate on the front of the tub in large letters. You're paying an isolate price. You're mostly getting concentrate. The label isn't lying in a way that's illegal. It's lying in a way that's far more sophisticated than that. Most people who buy protein powder have never heard of casein. That's by design. Casein makes up 80% of the protein in milk. Whey is only 20%. But whey became famous. Casein stayed quiet. Whey absorbs quickly. In 1 to 2 hours, it peaks in your bloodstream. Fast spike, fast gone. Casein absorbs slowly, 5 to 7 hours of sustained release. Think of whey like a sprinter. Casein is a marathon runner. This slow release is why casein became known as the bedtime protein. Drink it before sleep, slow amino acid release through the night, muscles fed while you rest and recover. Scientifically sound, genuinely useful. But here's the problem buried in the processing. There are two main forms of casein. Micellar casein, extracted gently through a cold filtration process, preserves the full natural structure of the protein, the best form, most bioavailable. Calcium caseinate, extracted using acid washing, denatures the protein, destroys some of its natural structure, cheaper to produce. Micellar casein is the form used in clinical studies. It's the form proven to work best. Calcium caseinate is what most brands put in their tubs, and unless you read the full ingredient list, you have no way of knowing which one you're buying. Same product name, wildly different quality, and the label will never volunteer this information. For years, plant protein was dismissed, not as effective as whey, incomplete amino acid profile, just for vegans. The fitness community treated it like a consolation prize. Here's what a 2015 study published in the Journal of the International Society of Sports Nutrition found. Pea protein produced the same muscle and strength gains as whey protein over an 8-week resistance training program. Same gains, zero dairy, no lactose issues. The plants are inferior narrative was never really about science. It was about market share. The dairy industry is enormous. It had no interest in consumers discovering that peas could build muscle just as effectively as cows. Soy protein is the most complete plant protein, contains all 9 essential amino acids. Also the most controversial due to phytoestrogens. The science on soy and hormones is largely overstated, but the fear drives consumers away and sells competitors' products. Pea protein is high in branched-chain amino acids, the ones directly linked to muscle building, low in methionine, excellent in combination. Rice protein is low in lysine, high in methionine, perfectly complements pea protein. Hemp protein has a complete amino acid profile, but only 30 to 50% protein by weight, compared to 80 to 90% in other proteins. High in healthy omega fats, but not primarily a muscle-building protein. The pea and rice blend creates an amino acid profile almost identical to whey. It is the gold standard for plant-based protein. But most commercial plant protein products are loaded with gums, artificial sweeteners, and thickeners to cover the naturally chalky, earthy texture. You're solving a dairy intolerance problem and potentially creating a gut sensitivity problem. Remember that 2015 Clean Label project? 134 protein powders, top brands, household names. Here is what they actually found. Heavy metals, lead, arsenic, cadmium, mercury, present in detectable, measurable amounts in over 40% of the products tested. Some were within limits considered technically safe for occasional consumption. Others were not. And the brands with the highest contamination levels weren't the cheap ones. They were mid-tier and premium products. Brands with influencer sponsorships. Brands on the shelves of major supplement retailers. Plant-based proteins had higher average heavy metal levels than whey proteins, not because plants are inherently dangerous, because of where and how they're grown. Plants like peas and rice absorb minerals from soil with greater efficiency than animals do. If the soil contains elevated levels of heavy metals, the crop reflects that. The protein reflects that. As of today, there is no federal regulation in the United States requiring supplement companies to test for heavy metal contamination before a product reaches shelves. None. We're not talking about a fringe industry. We're talking about a mainstream product consumed by tens of millions daily with no mandatory pre-market safety testing. Here is a system that makes all of this possible. The supplement industry is governed primarily by DSHEA, the Dietary Supplement Health and Education Act, passed in 1994. This law fundamentally reversed the burden of proof. For pharmaceutical drugs, a company must prove a product is safe before it can be sold. For dietary supplements, a product is presumed safe until the FDA can prove it is not. The FDA does not test supplements before they reach shelves. If they suspect a problem, they must investigate, gather evidence, build a legal case, and fight the company in court while the product continues to sell. This is exactly why protein spiking exists. Protein content in supplements is determined by measuring nitrogen levels in the powder. This is called the Kjeldahl method. But nitrogen is not exclusive to protein.
Cheap amino acids, glycine, taurine, creatine, and beta-alanine also contain nitrogen. Supplement companies add small amounts of these inexpensive free amino acids to their powder. The nitrogen test reads them as protein. The label reports 25 grams of protein per serving. But only 15 of those grams come from actual high-quality protein sources. The remaining 10 grams come from cheap fillers that your muscles cannot effectively use for repair and growth. Manufacturing costs increase approximately 40 cents per tub. Retail price increase $12 to $15 per tub. Legality? Completely uncontested. Until enough consumers demand third-party testing as the industry standard, protein spiking will remain profitable, prevalent, and perfectly legal. So after all of that, what should you actually do? For muscle building and performance, whey protein isolate remains the most bioavailable, fastest absorbing, research-backed option if you tolerate dairy, but you must confirm on the label. Whey protein isolate is the first and only protein ingredient listed. If it says whey protein blend, it's mostly concentrate. Put it back. For overnight recovery, micellar casein is your best option. The label must say micellar casein. If it says calcium caseinate, that's the acid-washed inferior form. Different product, different result. For plant-based, look specifically for a pea protein plus rice protein blend. Together, they create an amino profile comparable to whey. The single most important thing you can look for on any protein powder is third-party testing certification. NSF certified for sport, Informed Sport, Lab Door verified. These certifications mean an independent laboratory tested the product and confirmed it contains what the label states, with no undisclosed ingredients, and within accepted heavy metal limits. It is not a perfect system. It is the best accountability mechanism currently available in this industry. It is the closest thing to a guarantee that exists. Most fitness content tells you what to buy. This video told you how the industry works. One of those is far more valuable and far harder to sell advertising against. You didn't click this video by accident. You clicked it because something didn't feel right. Maybe you've been using the same protein powder for years, never questioning it, just scooping and drinking. But the fact that you watched this to the end, that's not nothing. That's the difference between someone who makes decisions based on a label and someone who understands what's behind it. The supplement industry is a $21 billion machine. It runs on information asymmetry, on you not knowing what you now know. You've disrupted that asymmetry today. What you do with that is up to you. But whatever protein you buy next, you'll read that label differently. And that's exactly the kind of person they never planned for.